Thanks, everybody. Good to see you guys again. I think some of you, again, I've been here before to this event. It's been a couple years ago. QuickTag has been a partner with Turnkey for many years. So happy to be back with you. And Bill, Brad, don't worry about calling me Scott. It's the second most common name I get called, believe it or not. I get called, well, there's another one, but I can't tell you. But yes, that's the second, I don't know, it's the F. Scott Fitzgerald thing or something, but really, I get it all the time, so no worries. So quick side note, a couple of them. QuickTag is actually located in Tempe, Arizona. I've come to St. Louis. I'm here for Paul Goldschmidt. We'd like to have him back if you guys don't mind. So that was a heartbreaker. You guys took our best players. But the other side note is that I'm a St. Louis native, born and raised here. Moved out to Phoenix about 26 years ago. So I just recently crossed over that threshold where I lived there longer than I lived here. So I spent the first 25 years here, but I grew up in Brentwood, and so I'm a local kid, so it's always great to get back and see everyone here. So we're going to go through just a quick few PowerPoint slides just to give you guys a little bit of introduction on the product. How many people know about QuickTag a little bit, maybe been through a webinar or presentation before? A few, okay? So we're going to go through AP automation. We're going to take a look at all aspects of QuickTag, and we'll get into that. But we do have something new out that you probably haven't seen yet for employee expense management. So I'm going to try and save most of the time in the presentation for that, because if you sat through one of our Turnkey webinars before, you might be fairly familiar. So let's jump into that. Again, digital transformation. I know Chris is going to touch on that and talk about that in his talk and discuss that. And that's the buzzword that you're hearing. How do we, ride this wave when it comes to AP and employee expenses and paper within our organizations? And that's what I'm here to tell you about. So real quick on QuickTag, the company, we're 21 years old now, having been founded in '97. As I said, we're in Phoenix, Arizona. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. In 2004 is when we became a Microsoft partner. Somebody came to us with this thing called Great Plains and said, you integrate with that, and so we integrated with that. So this is a 14 going on 15-year-old product that we have, integration. I think that's important. When you're working with any kind of ISV that's going to attach things to Dynamics GP, you want to know they've been around and done this a long time, and we have that track record. But those 120,000 users worldwide represents about 1,000 clients, and right about 60, I think it's last time we looked, like 68% of those clients use QuickTag with Dynamics GP. So not only is it what we've done the longest, it's what we do the best. And what I mean by that is we also integrate to the other Microsoft ERP solutions, but GP does represent the core of our business. I won't get into it really too much at all today, but we can automate other processes. Okay, we're going to focus on the two I've mentioned, but QuickTag is an enterprise-wide document management solution. And so number one, in terms of just storing documents and going paperless wherever you want, you can accomplish that with QuickTag, not only in GP. But also if you have other processes internally that are slowing you down, taking up time, right, a lot of documents, we can create workflow solutions really for anything. Okay, so know that you're getting this product that has a workflow engine with it when you get QuickTag. 9 U.S. patents. We had 6 when I started 7 years ago, so we continue to innovate and add to the product. And great customer support. If you ever need it, hopefully you won't, but it's software, you know how that goes. Very strong customer support, all handled out of Phoenix. So you'll be in good hands there. These are some of the things. We don't have a lot of time, and I'm not going to dive into every one of these, but these are the reasons people are usually looking for a document management and AP automation solution. These are the top ones that we hear about, and certainly just in the industry in general. So again, are you spending too much time chasing documents down, chasing down invoices for approval or employee expense reports, getting them back? How about office space, right? Are you, in terms of document storage, you got a lot of filing cabinets around? Are they taking up space? We can help you eliminate those as well. And if you're in a place where office space isn't really at a premium, and you got the room, maybe it's no big deal, although the filing cabinets get expensive. But it's great to be able to take the filing room and over time get rid of it and turn that into usable space too. Bottlenecks, these processes that we're talking about, if they are paper driven mostly, if you are getting like an invoice emailed to you and you're printing it out, right, the invoice, and then you're passing it around or writing something on it, scanning it back in and emailing it out, and they're printing it out and writing something on it, you can see where this would just be slow, right? So inefficient processing obviously costs lots of money, not to mention lost documents that happen in that process. So we can really help you with that as well. Visibility to documents, again, depending on what kind of solution. If they're hard copy, only the people with them can see them. If you're using something that's only in GP, if you're attaching everything in GP, well, I got to be a GP user to see that. How do you give visibility to documents so anybody that you want to give access to can see those documents, and you can accomplish that here as well. And compliance, again, can't keep up. This is usually about growth. Any of you that are, where you're in a business and everything that's growing, if you continue, if you have or thinking about, or in the front, windshield out of your view you're looking at, we're going to have to hire somebody else to keep up. That's when, obviously, when you automate, right? That's when you at least consider it. Take a look at it and think, hey, do we want to throw another body at this, or do we want to throw technology at it? And then compliance. You may be in an industry, where having documentation on everything, whether it be a transaction or something else, is really important. And so with proper document management, you can have everything in place. You can have, check marks and processes to let you know that trigger other activities. Things don't happen until I comply with and have these documents. And then going back from a historical viewpoint and looking back into records, making sure you have everything that you need. So again, a lot of times that's driven by the industry that you're in. And so certainly document management will help you with that. In terms of QuickTag, we are integrated in over 75 different forms. We'll get into that in the demo, but it's embedded right inside of Dynamics GP across those 9 different modules that you see there. You upload a document, or through automation, get a document into QuickTag, and it's going to be in GP where you can see it, but it's also going to be over here in QuickTag, and that speaks to the visibility to others, right? I can give somebody a QuickTag license for $60 a year, and now they have, again, that visibility. They don't have to go into GP to find it, but you store things in QuickTag and they live in, or you store things in GP and they live in QuickTag. Sorry, the button got stuck. This is an example of building out QuickTag for additional document storage. It has nothing to do with GP. And I just use human resources as a simple example. We do sites and then drawers. So you can put a site for your department where you want to store documents. You build drawers usually by document type, and now you can store whatever else you want in QuickTag. Okay, so very, very easy to do. You'll be trained how to do that. It's a simple process. In terms of automating things with GP, and this is what we'll look at first in our demo, there's a great solution called the GP Professional Client. Those of you that are GP users, I think that's everybody, is going to love it. So as you can see, it looks just like GP and operates like GP. And so I'm going to show you a demo where we're going to just work with non-PO invoices for this one. We'll have an invoice come in. It's going to start here. We're going to send it to an approver, and then we'll push it into GP. But our GP Professional Client is a really efficient tool. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then expense management, we'll get into that a little bit as well. It's built right into the product, but it's a purpose-built solution just for expense management. And that's really important. So QuickTag, again, enterprise-wide document management, integrated to GP, store everything in here, but then have purpose-built solutions for invoice approvals, automation, matching, and employee expense reporting as well, specifically built. We don't take the invoice solution and try and make it work for expenses, right? We purpose-built a solution just for expenses, and we'll get into that. Okay? So let's transition here into the demo. Okay, let's take a quick look at, start with invoices, as I promised, and we're going to start in that GP Professional Client. Okay, I'm on a wireless connection. I'm VPN back into the office in Phoenix. I'm hitting my remote desktop. If it doesn't go really fast, give me a break, okay? But it should work pretty quickly. All right, so this is the dashboard to the GP Professional Client. So we're going to start again with an invoice. We're going to look at just a non-PO invoice that's got a route for review and approval in your organization, and then integrate into GP. That's what we'll start with first, Invoice Automation. So I'm going to be Sean, the AP guy right now. And I come in here to QuickTag, I log in on the Tuesday morning, and I have, it looks like 22 documents to deal with. We're interested in the ones that are in the tag stage. That's step one. That is 12 brand new invoices that just came in and nothing has happened to them yet. And so they come in and somebody has to take some action on them and route them for review and approval. So that's what we'll do here. How did they get in here? Well, this location has, will have an email address assigned to it. If you want to give that email address to your vendors, you can. They can email everything right in for you. You won't have to scan anything. If you're opening up the mail on a daily basis and that's where you're still getting some invoices, of course you can scan them in. You can browse out and upload. It's the easiest thing to do is to get documents in there. So I have a invoice from Advanced Office Systems. I'm going to launch it on its workflow path. Here's a bunch of them, different workflow paths, that is. And I'm just going to choose this one. You probably only have the one or two that we built for you. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do some data entry. It's really slick, quick, and easy. But every time I do it, people always say, wait a minute, don't you have OCR? Can it read this and do that for me? Yes, it can. Additional technology, additional cost. If your business needs that, you want that, great. We can get into those details and talk about that. It is available. Okay. Quite frankly, it's a little bit more to deal with. And I'm not going to get into that conversation right now. But my point is that you may think you want it and have to have it, and you may not. And you may be thankful to have to avoid the additional cost and implementation that's involved with it. But either way, so let's look at it without zonal OCR. So again, these, as you see, this is going to go to, again, this is a non-PO invoice, so it's going to become a payable transaction entry in GP. So as you can see on that screen on the left, we've laid it out nearly identical to that screen in GP. We built this. This is not GP, right? This is QuickTag. Looks like GP. And once it's installed with you, it'll be pulling back your GP database in real time. So not only do all these functionalities behave just like you're used to in GP, but it's your data, okay? So this is going to be an invoice for Advanced Office Systems. I'll hit the lookup there. Again, all these things work with just like GP. I'll say that too many times. All these, you can scroll through them. You can filter on them if need be. But you don't even have to do that because we have type ahead, just like GP. There we go. Tab, and it puts in about 4 or 5 pieces of information. Okay, I can grab right here, copy and paste the doc number so I don't have to type it and get it wrong. I'm going to get a duplication error if I do that. So let's just let's do TTI, Turnkey Technologies Incorporated. We've got to customize that and make it unique. So we'll do that. $5,000 is the amount. No tax, freight, or anything on this one. We'll keep it simple. Now, if I want to do the, if I want to code this, again, I'm just the AP guy, Sean the AP guy, sending this invoice to someone for approval. Okay, that's the step we're in right now. If I want to, if in your organization, that person, Sean the AP guy, codes, okay, you can do the coding right here. If not, you leave it to the approver to do the coding. If they hold that knowledge, great, we can build it that way. Again, I'm showing you, I'm going to have time to show you one. We're going to custom configure, obviously, your workflow to, you know, according to your requirements, obviously your people, and all the triggers that you want this thing to move on. So I'm going to go ahead and code it. So I'm going to hit distributions. It gives, it's giving me the defaults. So if you have those defined on the vendor card, they'll be right there. If you don't have them or they don't make sense, you just do your lookup, and again, you're right back to a familiar list. I'm looking for computer software. Double click, drops in the new line item, and then you can allocate this however you'd like to. Okay. We'll move that around a little bit. And there we go. So it's fully coded. Now, if you use analytical accounting, great, we got you covered there. If you have a third-party integration with binary stream MEM, and a lot of people do, we have that integration covered. That's a huge one. If you're considering AP automation and you have binary stream MEM, don't dare buy one from a product that doesn't have that, because that's a thick, heavy, hairy integration, and we've worked on it for a few years. And even did a session at GPUG Summit with binary stream and one of our clients this past year, so you guys were there. So that's a big one. We integrate with couple of the products out there, RecLogic, Paramount, KeyTag, if any of you use that, formerly OneSoft, now KeyTag. So we have a lot of integration, third-party integrations that are key for an AP automation solution. Okay, so I am coded. We'll move on. Workflow comments are optional. If you want to put some comments along for the ride, you can. This is a big deal down here at the bottom. Save as template. I'm going to check that box, and I'm going to create a template on the fly. This is not zonal OCR, but this is, some say, even better, okay? This comes with the product, standard issue, and really easy to use. So I'm going to create a template because I get this invoice with some reoccurring frequency, right? And so I don't have to do all this work again next time it comes in, so I'll create the template. We'll call it TTI 2, because I might have one in there already. All right, so this is an invoice that's going to go to Sean. Oh, I didn't do my approver yet. It's not going anywhere. So here, I forgot to pick the list. So I picked Sean, I picked approver selection, so I got to pick the person from the list, okay? So let's just go like this and do Sean CFO from the list right there. Now, that's one way to set this up. We can also set it to route off different criteria if that makes more sense for you guys. This is just one example of how we can build a workflow. So I hit submit. It's going to leave my queue. And, well, first it's going to build the template real quick on the fly. And then it's going to leave the queue. There we go. And it's off to Sean CFO. So Sean CFO is going to get an email in a second. It's going to pop up right down here, and that he can approve from. And it's also going to drop into his QuickTag work queue, and he can work from there. Okay. But the next time this invoice, if I get that invoice in again, right, that advanced office systems, we'll see if we can find it just for fun. There it is. So it comes in again next time, new invoice approver selection template, because I don't want to, I'm going to use the template this time. There's my VPN slowness. Sorry about that. And so TTI, there it is. There's one we just created. So I will apply that template to this invoice, and I'll come in. There's our approval on the other one. So now, as you can see, most of the information is entered for me, right, from the template. And so the doc number's not there. That's the invoice number. It's going to be unique every time, so we don't save that. But really, pretty much everything else is filled out for me. Again, obviously reducing the amount of data entry you have to do this time through. And the big thing here, and most zonal OCR solutions won't do this, it saved my coding from last time. That's a big deal, right? Maybe not on this one. You guys can do that in 12 seconds probably. But the ones that get longer, right, that have more coding, big, huge time saver. And it's a template, so you can change anything you want. Likely the dollar amounts might be a little different and stuff from time to time, but at least the coding is there. And so the whole thing is a template, change what you want, but obviously you got some great efficiency there in terms of reducing the amount of data entry that you have to do. So let's look at the approval on this one. We will, let's see here, we need to choose Sean CFO, that's Sean Department Manager, there we go. Top right-hand corner, you can see how I'm logged in. So this is Sean CFO, and let's do a little refresh here. We're going to be in our task module, or section in here. So these are all the approvals I have to do with Sean CFO. So there's ours right at the top of the list. You can see the doc number, TTI. So that's the one that we just sent through. So this is one option, as I said, for doing approvals. You can come right here into QuickTag, and we'll look at the email approval too. So I can approve, reject, or delegate. Right? If I want to see the GL codes, open that up and expose them. And I don't know, the print's a little small on that, but if I want to delegate to someone else, I can say, you know what, usually I'm the approver for advanced office systems, but there's an exception here. I can move this to Danny's, whoever else's work queue, and have them do that. This is an option. If I want to reject, I can reject, usually with comments. We're going to ask you to put in comments most of the time. If you're going to send this back to somebody, usually the AP person or whoever sent it to you, let them know why, right? And if they have to change something, maybe you don't agree with the GLs, whatever it might be. So you can reject with comment. If you want to approve, you just approve. Comments are optional, and away it goes. Now, I kept this one's real simple. This is just, two people involved, one person kicking things off and one person approving. So that one's done. But obviously, if it needs to go to multiple people, that's part of that customized workflow configuration. We can build it for you however you'd like. Here is what our email approval looks like. So instead of, not both, obviously, right? I could do it right from email. So I'm going to get the email attached, or excuse me, the invoice attached. I can see it right there. This is actually ours. You can see this is our TTI document. And I get all the information in that grid down the middle. You can customize that, make it smaller, so it's not so much stuff. But there's my GLs, and I can approve. I can be on my phone, and I can just tap that little green approve button. It sets up the approval email for me. Put in comments if I want to or not. Tap send, and I'm done. Takes it out of my work queue and moves it on the approval path. Okay, so right from email. Once it's done and it's gone through that whole entire approval path, we're going to come. It's going to push right into GP. So almost into GP. So now I'm back to Sean, the AP guy, right, who does the data entry here, who's currently today responsible for putting invoices in. And I'm going to look for my approved documents right here, view work queue. So that comes up. And so, like I said, almost in GP. This is still a QuickTag functionality, QuickTag work queue. So here are our documents. You can see our TTI invoice right there at the top of the list. So these are all my approved invoices. So I come in here and I know that every one of these is approved. I have that assurance. I know, hey, these have gone through the designated QuickTag workflow process. They wouldn't be here. So we're covered there. So I can just grab them all. I'm going to hit create up here in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to assign these to a batch, okay, a payables batch. And so I can, pick however many of these that I want to, okay? If I'm interested in looking at any information, I can do that. I can say, hey, first of all, I can say, show me the invoice if I want. Again, I don't have to do this. I don't want you to think that this step is necessary because it's time consuming. But if your AP person wants to look at this stuff, they can. Say, show me the details. There's details on the transaction. But when I'm ready to move this, again, I'm just going to hit create. I'm going to assign it to a batch. Okay, here's all the open batches. Yes, it's a demo database. Don't freak out. But if I want to do my own personal batch, I can. We'll assign it to the TTI batch. I'll hit yes, and there goes our invoice. Boom, and now it's in. And there we go. So it's created our document, our transaction for us. Brought in everything for us, created the payable transaction entry, voucher number, assigned it to the right batch, and my distributions are brought in as well and created. And the document will always be right there attached to that transaction. That document also is over in QuickTag in the payable transaction entry drawer. So if I'm a non-GP user and you've given me a license, you've given me rights to see that drawer, right? There's security and permissions all involved with this. But I can go in there and I can self-serve and see the invoices as well. And if you don't want me to see everybody else's invoices and you only want me to see mine, that's fine. We have a report called Workflow Items I Have Acted On. So you can just run that and use that, and I'll only see my documents that I'm involved in. That's a pretty common request as well. So I'm going to jump over to employee expense management, but any quick questions on this before I do that? Everybody's good? Okay. Let's look at an employee expense report here. So a couple things. First of all, let's look at things from the front end. Wrong guy. I got to be here. There we go. And I want you to see okay. So this is cool. This is there we go. So first of all, from AP, from the back end, what you can do is, we're talking about, there's a couple ways to do this. Actually, I'm going to do this later. Let's look at, I want to start with reimbursements. Let's go into Quick Expense, and I'm going to be Sean, the employee, the guy who's got to fill out the expense report, right? And I've been getting my receipts over time, or from wherever they come from, and I've been pushing them into QuickTag. Let's say I got to do this once a month. So here on the left-hand side, we have receipts. On the right-hand side, we have reports. So I have right here, this tells me I have 14 receipts that I've put in that nothing's happened to. So here's my receipts that I've gathered over time. Okay, probably obviously since the last time I did a report, perhaps over, over the last month or so. So I can email all these in wherever they're at, and you saw there, I mean, this is obviously one that I just snapped a picture with my phone and sent it in. Right? I've been doing this for the past couple days. You snap the receipt, attach it to an email, and send it in. And then when it's time to do your report, you come on into here, and we're going to do this one. So I'm going to do a reimbursable expense report right now. So I'm spending my own money, and I've saved my receipts. I got to fill out a report, and I got to have the receipts right along with it so that you nice people in AP will cut me a check or make a payroll adjustment or something like that, right? So I'm going to come in here to my receipt, and I'm going to add receipt data. So again, I push all these into my QuickTag work queue throughout the month, and I come in here to add some information about it. Okay. So we'll do these for today's date. That's really all I have to put in there. Down here, I'm going to do what amounts to the GL coding. But I'm Sean, the sales guy, and you don't want me to mess with GL codes, right? Because I won't learn them, and I'll always get them wrong, and I'll mess it up. But I do know that I am in sales. I can remember that. And I know that I look at this receipt, and I go, oh, look, there's a picture of a pretty airplane. This must be travel. So I can be taught. The point is, what's happening here is that this is building the GL string, okay, with these different line segments, okay? And so those are all customizable to whatever makes sense for you guys. But based on what I fill out here, who I am, how I'm logged in, behind the scenes, QuickTag, and obviously working closely with you, is going to reconcile and put the proper GL distribution code to this transaction. This is a $789 ticket, and we're good to go. Comments are optional. All these fields actually, are customizable. When it says add to the receipt line, there's a couple that are required, but you can customize these to be as many or as little as you want. So we're going to add that $789 transaction there. Let's grab the other one from the bottom, see what that is. An Uber. So we'll just do 2 to give it a little bit of meat here. And again, just kind of rinse and repeat on this one. Sales, travel, $55, I believe. And we're good to go. So I just continue to do that for all my receipts, obviously, right? And then when I'm ready to go, and I've indexed, is kind of the technical word we use, I've entered all that data for all my receipts. Over here on expense reports, I'm just going to create a new expense report by whatever parameters. Again, these are customizable. Do you want some more fields to further customize exactly what this is? What, the report parameters, you can do that. I'm just going to do it by date. I'll just do it for today, and we'll call this our TTI report, and away I go. I submit it. It's going to build my expense report. Boom, good to go. There it is right there. There's my expense report for $72. Okay. Nope, for $844. Click on that, and it's built a report for me. So this is still with me, Sean, the employee. Right? I haven't submitted this yet, but this gives me a chance to review things. So I can look at this. I can say, okay, yeah, it's got that receipt. Cool. It's got this receipt. Cool. It's $844. Yeah, I'm fine with that. If I need to change any of this stuff, I can. I can come in here and edit any of this, change, delete, add, whatever I need to. And then once I'm ready to go with this, I can just say send it for approval. So really all I got to do is collect my receipts, put in a couple pieces of information, set the parameters, and send for approval. I'm done. Okay. By the way, as I'm taking these pictures of my receipts at Starbucks and stuff in the airport, right? I mean, I'm taking pictures and just throwing them away. I don't have to, obviously, the cumbersome activity of saving your receipts and where is it and can I find it? You have to worry about any of that, because even if something goofy happens and it doesn't make it into here, I still got it on my phone because I took a picture of it. So it's just way, way easier. Okay, so we've sent that for approval. Let's click over here, top right-hand corner, Sean, Department Manager. So I'm logged in now as the person that's going to do the approval, and here it is. I see that I have one report pending my review. Now, of course, I'm getting an email for this in the meantime. Right? On cue, thank you. There it is. So I'm notified of this. But you can see that's our TTI report for $844. And so now I can open this up, and there's the report. Categorizes it by department or whatever other category you want to. But so I open that up, and I'll see, oh, this is Sean, my sales guy. This is his report, $844, $789. That's pretty expensive. Let's take a look at that. All right, there's the transactional data. And then if I want to actually see the receipt, I can open up and see the receipt and see what's going on. Okay. I can review all that. And then once I'm good, so again, I'm Sean, the department manager, Sean, the approver, I can approve or reject my expense report. Right? Now I can also approve, I believe we have it set, yep, I can approve or respect at the, approve or reject at the receipt level. Right? So if this guy gives me something with 25 receipts and I'm cool with most of them, but that one I got a question on, I can reject it with some comments and say, please, explain this to me. And what's great about that, there's multiple ways we can have this all set up, but a common way is for me to reject that. I'm not paying this, but I'll pay these. Move the whole report forward, right? Put this one receipt back to the employee into their work queue, and then press pause. You don't actually press pause, but the report actually just kind of goes into a holding pattern, waiting for his response. Because what if Sean said, the employee says, well, wait a minute, boss. Remember this? You said I could do this. That's back to the boss, and the boss goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, Sean, employee guy. Approved. It'll move forward and rejoin the report. Okay? The little nuances like that, that's just one example, but there's different things with this that you don't think about until you're actually using it that come up that we've accounted for. Okay, so if I want to go ahead and approve this, I will go ahead and approve that. And there we go. And then really, the rest of this is just like what I already showed you with invoices. It works the same way. We're going to go, because assuming this is an assumption, so we have some options here. But if you set up your employee who's on reimbursable payments like this, if you set them up as a vendor in GP, which we see is most common, then I can just go in here and say, view work queue. And there it is right there. That's the transaction payable. I think that's ours. Yeah, $853. Okay, so that's the transaction that just came in for Sean. So again, same thing. Create, assign to a batch. Okay, and if I want to see these documents, I can open that up, and I'm back to that same thing. Right? I can see the report. If I'm the AP person, whoever, I can get back to that data too, right from inside of GP now. Okay, and in fact, once we create this into GP, I'll have this same experience where when I go back to it and I say view document, it'll take me here. So even after it's all done, I'll be able to see the receipts on this report going forward. Okay. Now, what I was gonna so that's, I've got a couple minutes here until Brad's gonna give me the hook here. Right? Do I go to one? Yeah. To one. Oh, I do have a little more time than I thought. Okay. So, any quick questions about that? I'm doing all the talking.
Well, how do you put mileage in there? You have mileage.
Yeah, should have shown you that. So let's add some data. And probably not the best way to show it here with the document, because I can do this without a document, but right here I can put I don't have to have a document, because obviously you probably wouldn't have one, right? But I can say, okay, this is a 22-mile trip. And there, just created a line amount for $13.20. So we can build that into the solution, yeah, where whatever your adjustments are. I know those get kind of complex based on what your rules are and how much they've driven and how much you reimburse may change over time. So we can build all that logic into it. But yeah, that can become a line item on the report. So going back to what I want to talk about now is, what if you had and this is obviously also very common too, you had a situation where it's a company issued credit card, American Express is my example, and you have to manage that. Sure, we distribute everybody a corporate card, but we still want to hang on to the receipts, right, and prove what they spent. So lots we can go into here, but I'll kind of hit the highlights. So first of all, on the front end of the solution, or in the back office, where a lot of you or the folks on your team work, you can easily upload your corporate card statement. So you go up to American Express, you log in, and you get the whole corporate card statement. We have 100 people that use American Express in our company, right? And I get this huge, long CSV file, right, with 1,000 transactions, right? Everybody has 10 line items. Is that the right math? And so I can just take that, and if I get that report, I download it probably as a CSV file or something, and then I can just upload it right here. I'm just showing you browse out, upload, no problem. So I can drag that right into here, and the result of that will be that couple things. Now I'm just logged in as the individual employee, so we're only seeing that view. But what is this? This is telling me, Sean, that I'm missing 3 receipts from that American Express report. What does all that mean? Well, what happened was the spreadsheet from American Express, the whole report went in, QuickTag analyzed the whole thing, right, and then sent to me my transactions that I'm missing. Missing what? Well, I haven't coded them in the system yet. Doesn't matter if I've sent a picture of the receipt in, we don't know that. But if I've gone in and built a report and I've put in some data against those transactions, then, and it doesn't see them, then it says, okay, Sean, you got 20 receipts, but you only did 17, you're missing these 3. So it tells me that. The coolest thing about this is that it sent me an email telling me that, okay? And you, as the, you send missing receipts, so you as the admin on the back end can force that email send. So again, we're talking about one employee, but imagine from your seat, you got the entire thing in there, right? Let's say nobody's done a report yet. You get the whole thing that goes in there, right? You hit send receipts, and we all get our own individual receipt that tells us we're missing the 10 transactions. Sean, you're missing your 10 transactions. You're missing your 10. And it gives me the data on them. So it tells me Starbucks, 450. This is the date. You're missing this receipt. So I get that email, right? So that's, I mean, before this, our AP lady used to just walk over, like print off a copy of this, and you know, had to like divvy it up in different sections and all that, and drop it on our desk and everything. But not anymore. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Where'd that go? Missing receipt? No. All right. I thought I had one up here. But it will send it out to us and tell us that, let's just make it send us one. I'm going to do that. There. We'll send us receipt in just a second, or an email in just a second. So that's great. That's a great efficiency, number one, on the front end, that I can get that. There it is. I think I was looking at it and didn't even know it. So Sean, you're missing these 3 receipts. So I get that email, right? So it lets me know what I'm missing. Okay, so you've done that on the front end, but now it's time for me to go in and do my actual report, reimbursable. So very similar. I'm going to do it from here. Very similar to what we just did. I'm just going to come into my receipts. I'm going to hit add receipt data. Here's the big difference, is that if it's not a reimbursable, it's for my American Express card. So I'm Sean, the employee. I have an American Express card. I'm going to choose that as the option. There's my transactional data. Okay? So I don't have to put it in. This is my $55 meal. Double click, and it puts all that. It puts that information in for me. It doesn't code it, so I still need to do that. Sales, meals. Really about the only two things I have to do. Hit submit, and I'm good. And I just continue to do that, right, until this is all done. Right? I get the next one. Right, now there's only two, obviously. This is my $10 car service. So I'm good to go. And just continue. Oh, I didn't code it. So you get the idea, right? So it saves you even more time on the data entry, and we're good to go. So same process. Then you're going to get an approval, right? He's going to approve it, and it's going to push it into GP, and now it'll create a payable transaction to American Express in that regard. Okay. So some great back-end tool for the accounting folks, and then of course makes it a lot easier for the employee to manage all that. Any questions about that? Anything on the expense management solution? Yes.
What kind of rules can you set up to have like certain users automatically defined to certain departments or certain vendors automatically defined to certain expense accounts?
Yeah, I mean, certain employees automatically by department.
So,
what do you mean by that?
For instance, I'm in the accounting department, so if I was to enter any of my expenses, it should just automatically code to the accounting department. Can you set it to do things
So I don't
like
have
that?
to pick accounting department sales, right? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Per user definitions. Yep. What was the second part of that? Was there a second part?
Vendors to specific expense accounts. So if I was going to Office Depot, it would default to office supplies or something along those lines.
Yeah. So do you have that set up in GP?
That I don't know. I don't think so.
Can't. Yeah. Not sure about that one.
Set up in GP, it would translate over to.
Well, I'm just thinking, obviously, I showed how we do that with the GL codes. If you have vendor GL codes, but I'm not sure if we can do that or not. I have to follow up with you on an answer to that one. That's it. You guys are easy. So the thing to remember about QuickTag is, again, you got to think about this as, from an enterprise perspective, really three solutions. Okay, so number one, it's a document management solution. So you're getting this, obviously, as you've seen, and we didn't even go into it much, but you can upload documents straight from GP. I didn't even show you that. But on 75 screens in GP, there's about 3 different ways to upload a document and attach it to that transaction in GP. Come back a month later to that screen, that transaction, go view document, boom, there it is, right in GP. But it lives over in QuickTag. Expand it out to HR like I talked about in the beginning. So you get this document management solution, and then built into it you have AP automation and employee expense if you need it. Okay? Not everybody needs this. I get it. If you got 12 employees that are doing 12 expense reports in a month, you don't need this, right? You don't need to make the investment. But if you need it, if it's a big enough issue, if it's a cumbersome enough thing. So 3 solutions in one, enterprise-wide, deeply embedded in GP, but we can use it everywhere. Okay, kind of the best of all worlds in that regard.